1 in 4 adults has insulin resistance right now. And most of them have no idea. Not because they're not paying attention, but because it doesn't feel like a disease. It feels like being tired. Like not being quite yourself anymore. And it builds so slowly that most people don't connect the dots until years later. So let me explain what's actually happening, and what you can do about it. Let's start from the beginning. Every time you eat, your body releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin's job is simple. It acts like a key that opens the door to your cells, so the sugar from your food can get inside and become energy. Now imagine that key has been working overtime for years. Every meal, every snack, every spike in blood sugar, more insulin, more often. At some point, your cells start to ignore it. The signal keeps coming, but the door stops opening properly. That's insulin resistance. Your cells have become less sensitive to the key. So what happens next? Your body produces even more insulin to compensate. The sugar stays in your bloodstream longer. Your energy doesn't arrive when it should. And your body stores the excess, mostly as fat around your belly. And the reason this is so easy to miss is exactly that: it doesn't feel dramatic. It feels like tiredness. Like a body that used to run more smoothly than it does now. So how do you know if this is happening to you? There are 5 signals I see regularly in my clinic. And they're easy to miss because none of them feel urgent. The first is fatigue after meals. Not regular tiredness. This is the specific heaviness that hits an hour or 2 after eating. Your cells aren't getting the energy they should, so your body wants to slow down. The second is cravings. Particularly for sugar or carbohydrates in the afternoon. Your body is asking for a quick fix because the normal energy supply isn't working properly. Third, belly fat that doesn't respond. You can be eating well, moving regularly, and that layer around your midsection just stays. That's not a willpower problem. That's a metabolic signal. Fourth is brain fog. Difficulty concentrating in the afternoon. A kind of mental flatness that wasn't there 10 years ago. And fifth, sometimes the only real signal, is a slightly elevated fasting blood sugar on a routine blood test. Not diabetic. Not even pre-diabetic. But creeping up. That number is worth paying attention to. If any of those sound familiar, keep listening. Now let's talk about why this happens. Insulin resistance doesn't come from one bad habit. It comes from the accumulation of small things over a long time. And modern life is almost perfectly designed to create it. Your liver is one of the first places affected. When you consistently eat more carbohydrates and calories than your body needs, your liver converts the excess into fat and stores it inside itself. A fatty liver becomes less sensitive to insulin. It starts releasing glucose into your blood even when it shouldn't. Your muscles are next. Muscles are supposed to be your body's biggest consumers of blood sugar. But when you're not using them enough, they become less efficient at absorbing glucose. More stays in your blood. Then there's belly fat, and this is important. Fat stored around your abdomen isn't just sitting there. It's metabolically active. It releases compounds that make insulin resistance worse. So the more of it you carry, the harder it becomes for your cells to respond to insulin. It's a cycle that feeds itself. And then there's sleep and stress. Poor sleep raises cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol raises your blood sugar. Chronic stress does the same. Your body is running a system that was designed for short bursts of danger, not years of deadline pressure and broken sleep. All of these things together, not one of them alone, is how insulin resistance develops in most people. Quietly. Gradually. Without any single moment where it started. Here's what I want you to take from this. Insulin resistance is not permanent. Your cells can become sensitive to insulin again. And the things that reverse it are not complicated, they just need to be consistent. Movement is probably the most powerful tool you have. When you use your muscles, they absorb glucose directly, without needing insulin at all. That means even walking has a measurable effect on your blood sugar within hours. 30 minutes of moderate movement most days changes your insulin sensitivity within weeks. That's one of the most consistent findings in this area of medicine. What you eat matters too. But the goal isn't a strict diet, it's reducing the constant spikes. Less sugar. Less ultra-processed food. More protein, more fiber, more food that takes time to digest. That slows the release of glucose and gives your body a chance to catch up. Sleep is not optional. Even a few nights of less than 7 hours measurably reduces insulin sensitivity. Fixing your sleep is a metabolic intervention, not just a comfort. And small amounts of weight loss make a surprisingly large difference. 5 to 7% of your body weight, that might be 4 or 5 kilos, is enough to begin reversing insulin resistance in most people. You don't need to do all of this at once. Pick one thing. Start there. People often ask me about supplements. And there's one that comes up regularly when it comes to blood sugar, Berberine. It's been studied in a large number of clinical trials, particularly in people with type 2 diabetes, and it has real, documented effects on fasting blood sugar and long-term glucose control. In earlier insulin resistance, the evidence is still building, but the results are promising. One thing I always say, Berberine interacts with medications, including metformin, blood thinners and several others. So please check with your doctor before using it. If you want to know more, there's a link in the description below. Insulin resistance is one of the most common conditions in adult life today. And one of the most reversible. You don't need a diagnosis to start. You just need to know what's happening and take one step. Follow Vard IQ Health for evidence-based health content every week. All sources for this video are in the description below.